Hey, once again, everyone, it's weather for Weather Geeks time. It's the Monday evening edition, first edition of Weather Geeks in April. And what a nice little April surprise we had last night. Really wasn't a surprise. We had it in the forecast, but a lot of people weren't real happy about the snow that we had last night. It was sure photogenic, though. Thanks to everyone who sent in photos of the snow clinging to everything this morning. It was kind of that pasty snow that sticks to everything. But it did disappear in a hurry this morning. Check out this visible satellite loop from today. Now, it was a little bit tougher to see here because we had some clouds for a while. But in central Ohio, real easy to pick out the total disappearance of the snowpack over a matter of just a few hours earlier on today. The clouds were a little bit of a nuisance here locally for a lot of the afternoon, but we did see some sunny breaks developing towards the end of the afternoon into the evening. Generally speaking, 1 to as much as 4 inches worth of snow locally last night, and as we expected, there was kind of a gradient from north to south. At the airport in Vienna, only a half an inch. I live in Boardman, had about 2.5 inches. 3-4 inch amounts, though, pretty common down in Columbiana County, over into parts of Lawrence County and Beaver County in Pennsylvania. But blink and you missed it. It's long gone now. We have a pretty strong front to our south. This frontal boundary, let me draw this for you, although it's fairly easy to see, is basically a warm front, and it's going to start moving north as we go through the night tonight. And notice the difference between Knoxville and Lexington. That's a 24-degree difference over a relatively short distance. And that front starting to produce some rain showers down across the Tennessee Valley, down into parts of Virginia, and rain starting to break out in parts of Illinois as well. And all this is going to start pushing north, and I think the radar will indeed get more active as we go through the night tonight, and that will lead to a soggy start to the day tomorrow. Before we get to the details before storms tomorrow, let's talk about the severe weather threat for tomorrow into tomorrow night. The Storm Prediction Center, part of the National Weather Service, has upped the risk to an enhanced risk now from roughly Columbus on south and west. This includes Cincinnati, Dayton, Louisville, Evansville, and down towards Paducah as well. Enhanced, that's kind of one of the medium categories, and that's when they start talking about enhanced risks, that really gets our attention. So severe weather, I think, could be real problematic for our neighbors to the south and west tomorrow. Let's talk about the setup here. Moisture gathering tomorrow, and this is much more of a spring-like system. Much more of a spring-like system than we've had lately. Every storm we've had lately has had more wintry characteristics, but this has kind of a classic springtime setup with a good plume of moisture. It'll feel kind of muggy tomorrow afternoon, and then behind it, a real intense surge of colder, drier air. So pretty good clash of the air masses setting up. The front will roll through middle of the night tomorrow night, and then it's back to winter on Wednesday. Now, again, the severe weather risk is pretty significant, I think, for parts of the lower Ohio Valley. Here's a look at the instability tomorrow afternoon. The technical term for this, convective available potential energy, or CAPE. It's kind of a measure of how easy it is for air parcels to rise in the atmosphere. And rising air parcels, of course, cause clouds and precipitation, and when they rise really fast, you get big-time storms. Well, the instability is getting pretty impressive here mid to late afternoon, back towards southern Indiana, southwest Ohio, and into parts of Illinois as well. But notice what happens as we go into the evening. As I roll this forward, that high instability sort of vanishes. And so as these showers and the storms start rolling east, I'm expecting a weakening trend as we go through the evening. When you factor in not only the instability or the ability of air parcels to rise, but also the ability of air parcels to spin, we look at this index, which kind of combines the two. And again, it's much higher to our south and southwest into parts of southern Ohio, northern Kentucky, and back into Indiana as well. Not much of a threat for rotating storms this far to the east. Now, that being said, we don't want to rule out some gusty showers, maybe a couple of loud claps of thunder tomorrow night. It's a pretty narrow window. This isn't an all-night deal. Basically, I have the window from 11 to 1. We can probably wiggle this around a little bit. Maybe the window opens as early as 10 and closes as early as midnight. But basically, it's a 2-hour window in which we could see some gusty showers and some storms tomorrow night. But the overall risk here is pretty low. Now, but before the storms tomorrow night, it is going to rain tomorrow, perhaps steadily for a few hours tomorrow morning. Here's our high-res futurecast showing that rain pushing in around daybreak. Probably pretty soggy for a few hours tomorrow morning, but it's not a washout. In fact, as we get into the afternoon tomorrow, I think it's going to be dry for a lot of the afternoon, and temperatures will start taking off. Might even see some peaks of sun, so finally it's going to feel like spring, relatively briefly. But we'll see temperatures getting pretty close to 60 before the afternoon is through. A gusty wind developing, and again, largely dry once we get through that morning rain. Then here's our batch of showers, perhaps some thunder, and with storms, and even outside of storms, it's going to get pretty windy tomorrow evening. Our model here showing some gusts perhaps up to 40 to even close to 50 miles per hour right around 10 o'clock. Now this, maybe the model is being influenced here by it depicting some storms around, but even outside of showers and storms, it's going to be pretty windy. And then the wind direction comes around to the west-northwest on Wednesday, and boy, I mean, it is going to be a slap in the face Wednesday. After a high in the lower 60s late tomorrow, wind chills Wednesday are probably going to be in the 20s all day because the wind is going to be strong, especially in the morning. So speaking of Wednesday, we're not done seeing snowflakes just yet. I think this is going to be inconsequential, but there's going to be some flurries around during the course of Wednesday, maybe even a flurry into Thursday morning. We're kind of in between systems Thursday afternoon, and then I do think that we're going to see some more snowflakes on Friday. Check out the 7-day temperatures here. I mean, this is ugly stuff for this time of the year. Once we are done with our spring day tomorrow, lower 40s all the way through Monday. They were able to play down in Pittsburgh today for their home opener. Maybe not so lucky up in Cleveland on Friday. I'm expecting some snow showers around, a gusty wind. Temperatures up at Progressive Field probably no higher than 33, 34 on Friday. So if they do play, it's going to be unpleasant up in Cleveland on Friday. All right, longer range, I've been talking about this for a few weeks now, that April is looking like a colder than average month, a basic continuation of the pattern that we had in March. What I am seeing, though, in the 8 to 14 day outlook, which would take us into kind of the middle portions of April, what I'm seeing is the modeling starting to back away a little bit from the intensity of the cold. And what that means basically is that chances are rising that we're at least going to see some decent days during mid-April. I don't see a big warming trend coming, but it may not be as far below average as consistently in the middle of April, in that 8 to 14 day period. So little ray of sunshine, a little good news maybe for us. I was with my family for Easter yesterday, and I heard lots and lots of complaining about the cold and the winter kind of hanging on, and I know a lot of people are in that boat. We're really ready for spring to really kick in. It's a sluggish process this year, and again, it's not going to happen for a while. Some good news in the 8 to 14 day outlook, but Wednesday through early next week don't look much fun at all. Thanks for watching tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll have an update on the severe weather threat and everything else you need to know tonight on 21 News at 11 o'clock. And don't forget, you can check out the forecast anytime on the Storm Tracker 21 app.